Slender Man, or Slendy as his friends called him, was created by a forum poster in 2009 according to Wikipedia. A blurry, faceless man added to old photographs. The character soon caught the imagination of online horror fans of all ages. YouTube videos and several indie games followed, most notably a free downloadable title called Slender, The 8 Pages. That game would serve as an inspiration for its much larger sequel, Slender, The Arrival, from Canadian developer Blue Isle Studios. This one casts players as several severely screwed people who are being stalked by the sinister Slender Man and his minions. Slender The Arrival was added to Xbox One and PS4 after launching on Xbox 360, PS3, and Windows in 2013 and 2014. So join me once again as we take a closer look into the horror game called Slender The Arrival. As the game begins, Lauren arrives at Oakside Park, an isolated suburban subdivision where her friend Kate lives. A tree mysteriously falls onto her car, forcing her to get out and walk along the dirt road to Kate's house. You start playing just outside of Lauren's broken car, without actually having witnessed the accident. Slender conveys a surprisingly amount of information without the traditional cinematics or in-game animations that you will see in a larger budget game. Upon entering Kate's house, players will soon realize that something has gone wrong. The door is open and much of the place is in disarray. This portion of the game sees Lauren exploring the house and searching for clues for Kate's whereabouts. The sense of dread here is palpable, with ominous music and perhaps a few glimpses of someone you don't want to run into. Eventually, Lauren has nowhere else to go but the path behind the house, which leads to a delightful scare and the end of the prologue. Slender The Arrival is a relatively short game broken up into 9 chapters, 2 of which are the prologue in Genesis, an epilogue and or prequel chapter. Individual chapters can be replayed at will after reaching them. Several of the chapters differ slightly in playstyle, but the first one, The 8 Pages, sets the tone for the game and how things will unfold. Lauren finds herself alone in Oakside Park at night. She carries only her camcorder, through which we witness most of the game, and a flashlight. The flashlight provides a minimum amount of light. This is one oppressively dark game, and turning up the brightness won't help you. During the first chapter, Lauren must collect 8 pages scattered throughout the area in order to progress, referencing the original Slender The 8 Pages. The game doesn't tell you so, you just have to fumble around and figure things out if you're not using a guide or watching my YouTube video like all the smart people do. The location of the pages is random, but they can only appear in 10 different places. If you explore the park thoroughly enough, you will find them and move on. If you survive, that is. During this level, Mr. Slender takes notice of Lauren's presence and begins to chase her. Slender is not bound by many of our reality's laws. He can disappear and reappear closer to you even when you're looking at him. Your camera will freak out and distort as long as he remains close by. You can't even pause during these encounters, which made it that much more scary in my opinion. Running is the one and only way to deal with Slender Man. Unfortunately, Lauren's stamina will run out and slow her down after a short while. Sometimes she just gets really unlucky, Slender appearing too close to escape. When he catches her, you have to restart the chapter from scratch. The lack of checkpoints ratchets up the tension because you really want to get away from him so you don't have to look for those pages again. Chapter 2, Into the Abyss, proves the most challenging in the game. Lauren's search takes her to an abandoned mine. There, she must activate 8 generators in order to power an elevator and escape. The challenge increases because she is pursued by not only Slender Man, but also the first of his minions, a freakish and violent girl. This chapter will require several attempts before you can succeed. At least that's how many tries it took me to finish this chapter. Subsequent chapters ditch the whole find 8 objectives objective. Thankfully, and prove less stressful as a result. Players will step out of Lauren's shoes briefly to experience the perspectives of a young boy, another one of Kate's friends, and even Kate herself. These levels mostly involve exploring and completing smaller objectives, plus a fair deal of running from Slender and a new minion. Throughout the dread-filled adventure, you will find a vast number of collectible letters and documents. Yes, it has become a horror cliche to fill in the story via collectibles, but this form of storytelling fits well with the game's low-budget nature. You only get the tiniest glimpses and hints of story during actual gameplay, yet should you find enough of Slender's 50 collectibles, the overall story and the fate of each character becomes clear. The high-quality writing really casts the game's events and participants in a new light. The final chapter, Genesis, unlocks when you complete the main game. A remake of the original freeware Slender game, Genesis sees Kate searching for 8 pages in a park. The page searching is the least enjoyable mechanic in the main game, but I guess Genesis needed to be included for posterity. However, despite the smaller map and only 10 possible page locations, I could only find 6 pages during my first 4 attempts at the level. To make things even more frustrating, Slender becomes unavoidably fast as the particular level goes on. It's not scary or fun, it's just really annoying. I don't know, maybe it's because I never really cared about the original 8 pages game, being scary when you first play it, to playing so many different Slender game clones that it just became very annoying and I got increasingly uninterested. The Xbox One version of Slender boasts the same 20 achievements as its 360 predecessor, this time worth a total of 1,000 gamer score. Many are fun, optional goals such as playing all of the songs on the radio and playing a tune on the piano. On my first playthrough, I found 47 of the 50 collectibles. Figuring out which ones you're missing proves difficult because the game doesn't number them in a logical way, and I haven't found a list online that matches the weird numbering. Be sure to play on normal, not easy during your first run, so you get the achievement for beating the game. The hardest achievements will be beating the game on hardcore difficulty and 3 speed run achievements. Don't expect much in the way of improvements for the Xbox One version of Slender. The game still looks aggressively low budget, with low resolution textures and glaring low polygon models for characters and enemies. Slender can't hold a candle to its horror competitor Outlast in those departments. The sound design, darkness, and challenging gameplay provide the scares here, not the visuals. It will probably take anywhere between 3 to 5 hours to beat Slender the first time through, with additional plays in store for achievement hunters. The short-length chapter-based nature actually fit the game well. I don't know about you, but I can only take so much tension and dread before I need a break. Also, in these days of $15 to $20 downloadable titles, the $9.99 price ends up being quite fair for a game of Slender's scale. Slender the Arrival's exploration-based gameplay and complete inability to fight back against pursuers won't appeal to everybody. Slender runs with the themes of concepts of found footage horror movies and Japanese movies like The Ring and The Grudge. That helplessness and fear won't be for everybody, but it scared me really nicely. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the latest episode of History Behind the Horror. If you did enjoy this episode and you would love to see more from the A Closer Look series, make sure to please like the video and also share it. It does help this channel out more than you know. And before I let you guys go, I want to express how much I am grateful for every last one of you, from the ones who've been supporting since I made my first YouTube video, to also the ones who decided to subscribe to this channel whenever you decided and been supporting ever since. It means so much to me, and I'm glad that you guys showed me that you did enjoy the Closer Look series. This is something that I always wanted to do, and I finally get to do it without feeling like I'm giving you guys content that you don't want. So thank you guys so much for that. Also, if you guys would like to get in contact with me, or you have an idea for a new episode of History Behind the Horror, my Twitter link will be in the description, and also my Patreon link will be there too. If you guys could go over there and pledge just $1, it does help this channel out more than you know, and you guys get exclusive content that you don't get on this channel. You guys get updates on live streams, and you guys get to get History Behind the Horror videos one day earlier than anyone else here on YouTube. So again, that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode. I will see you guys tomorrow for a new episode, and as always, I hope to see you all on the next episode of History Behind the Horror.